Hey YouTube, this is Falcon's Crest again. I couldn't wait, but I wanted to get started on this. I said I was going to do a top 10, but now it's a top 15 of one of my greatest and favorite genres, horror. And horror, comedy, and action are my three favorite genres. So I'm starting out with horror as of today. I'm going to do my 5 honorable mentions first, then I'm going to get into my 15. The first honorable mention that I want to talk about is a movie directed by John Carpenter. You could either love him or hate him. I love John Carpenter's movies. Somebody on YouTube said that Big Trouble in Little China is probably John Carpenter's strangest film. But I would have to say one of his stranger films would have to be In the Mouth of Madness. Now, In the Mouth of Madness, there's so much going on. It takes a writer named Sutter Kane, like the bigger horror novelist, like the Stephen King, and just watching this movie was just so much fun and everything. Sam Neill is in it, the guy from Jurassic Park, and if you're watching this with a friend, at the end of the movie, it is just ask him, do you read Sutter Kane? It might just freak him out or it might blow his mind, who knows, but In the Mouth of Madness, the creatures, effects, just this bizarre twist, this just from start to finish, it's just non-stop. But In the Mouth of Madness, very, very, very entertaining, very, very good. So that was the first honorable mention, and this is my second honorable mention. Directed by Quentin Tarantino, and he's in it with George Clooney, From Dusk Till Dawn. Dusk Till Dawn was to me was one of, no, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite vampire movies. The end of the movie is just a whole bunch of vampires at the very end, just a big vampire bloodbath. From Dusk Till Dawn is just action, vampires, everything that all together, gritty, dark. It was just, it had a good sense of humor just as well. I really enjoyed it. So give Dusk Till Dawn a try and let me know. The third honorable mention is another movie. The guy who directed Heredity, Ari Aster. This, I wouldn't say this is just bizarre and out there. The movie is Midsommar. Now, Midsommar was just, to me, it was just as strange and just took you for a ride, and it starts out really slow, but then it immediately just took you into left field, I want to say. But Midsommar, check it out. That was a lot of fun too. Now my last two honorable mentions, I do want to talk about. One of them, Oculus. Oculus is about a boy and a girl they're older, and then there's this mysterious mirror that was in their family, and the mirror was possessed and made the mother and the dad do crazy things and stuff. But Oculus was just something else. It was just, in the movie review here, it says it chills you to the bone, but it was just quite entertaining. Oculus, check it out. Lot of fun on that one. And my last honorable mention, this is probably, they say this is the goriest, most blood in any other horror movie in history. This is directed by Peter Jackson, the same guy who did The Lord of the Rings and the new King Kong movie. I am talking about Dead Alive. And also it's also known overseas as Brain Dead, but Dead Alive. It was a very uh, it's a very different movie of Peter Jackson. I would definitely say that, and it was just bonkers, crazy, gory. From what I heard in stories, they've used over 10,000 gallons of blood in this movie. That's how they just wanted to break records and say, let's put as much as we can in this movie. But Dead or Alive, hopefully you have a good stomach to watch this movie. But check it out. It is very, very good. Now, those are my 5 honorable mentions. Now I am going to get into my top 15. These are the movies that I've always loved and endured. These are the ones that I go back to. I've watched many, many times, and when I was younger and so forth. So let's get right into it. The first movie, starring Bruce Campbell, directed by Sam Raimi. Got lost there. I did see this when I was a little bit younger. My brother saw this, and I got a chance to see little snippets of this, and then later on I got to see more of this. I am talking about Evil Dead. Evil Dead. The first Evil Dead I thought was very scary. I really enjoyed the first Evil Dead, and the second one was quite entertaining, but it was just more humorous. The first one was just, the shaky cam on the scene of having a creature chasing you through the woods and going through the doors and everything. But Evil Dead, if anybody has not seen Evil Dead, please watch Evil Dead. It is quite fun, and Bruce Campbell is just good, like he was in the last 3. Now, my second favorite horror movie is a movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, and that is The Shining, with Jack Nicholson and the beloved Shelley Duvall, who just passed away, I guess it was last year, a couple years ago. But anyways, The Shining. It's those certain scenes that are just grips you, and then when Danny Torrance goes into the room for the first time, sees an older woman in there, and there's supposed to be nobody in the hotel, and the twins that got slaughtered, and which happened a long time ago. But The Shining, what else more can I say about The Shining? A lot of people, if you haven't seen The Shining, please give The Shining a watch. There was a great sequel with Ewan McGregor called Doctor Sleep, where he plays, of course, Danny, who's much older. But The Shining, great stuff. My third pick, directed by Clive Barker, and I got to meet Doug Bradley, the guy who played the part, and that is Hellraiser. Hellraiser, to me, was just, at the time when this movie came out, it was just quite gruesome, very entertaining of a horror movie. You have to excuse me on my reviews on some movies. I've never been the best, but it is what it is. But anyways, Hellraiser, give that a shot and a watch. Now I'm going to do, so that was the third. This is my fourth and fifth picks. We're going to go with the master who started the zombie genre. And yes, I'm talking about George A. Romero. And without him, we wouldn't have all these great The Walking Dead and these other great zombie takeoffs and this and that and everything else that we've loved about this genre. And yes, I am talking about Night of the Living Dead. And when Night of the Living Dead came out in 1968, directed by George Romero, nobody had, from what I heard, nobody had the rights, owned the rights to this, and it was public domain. And eventually, Criterion did a great edition here, my Criterion edition. If I can get this sucker out. This. I do got a nice signed edition here, from one of the cast ladies. This is just a very nice edition. They did a great job, and it came out with a poster and everything. So, Night of the Living Dead, just a great way to start your zombie movies. And then, of course, right after Night of the Living Dead, George wanted to do a sequel. And on the sequel, he wanted to do the zombie movies in the mall. And this one, Dawn of the Dead. And Dawn of the Dead is one of the rare times where the sequel is just so hyped up, even better than the original, in my opinion. I mean, I love Night, don't get me wrong, but Dawn of the Dead, it was just so good. I just like a lot of things. I like the cast, and then in the movie, you thought like they're all gonna make it, but most of them they all turned into zombies, and except for 2 of them. So, but give Dawn of the Dead a watch. Great movie. All right, so now we're gonna go. You know, every YouTuber who does their top 10, top 15, be like, Mark, why did you not put that movie in there? And it's like, I have to put these certain movies in here. And it's not just because I want to put them in there because, you know, that's what people are looking for. But still, how can I... Halloween to me, it's not the beginning of the slasher films, but there was other slasher films before Halloween. But this is the one that everybody goes to saying that was the slasher film that started it all. And then after Halloween, Friday the 13th, and everything else in between just was overwhelming and really good. But Michael Myers, yeah. But Halloween, I have to watch Halloween. It's always a great one during the holidays, and it's always great just any time. And then, of course, this movie. I saw this movie when I was much younger, and it scared me a whole lot. And I'm talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, aka Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger. In some discussion, Wes Craven found a news article where some guy in India, I want to say, I could be wrong here, but I'm not too sure, he actually had a bunch of coffee, and he didn't want to go to sleep, and he was really scared that if he went to sleep, some guy was out there he was going to kill him. And that's where Wes Craven got the idea. So he used this somewhat part true story, and then he put it into the movie. But A Nightmare on Elm Street, classic, gotta love it. And here's a movie not too many people know about. It's directed by, now, Italian horror directors. I will say this. Some people, some of my friends, and some people out there that I've shared some Italian horror movies with them. But this was one that, to me, that these guys do not hold back when it comes to horror movies. And I am talking about Suspiria. Suspiria. The music in this movie is great. Um, the uh, the scenes in this movie, it was just, it's, there's a lot of stuff that happens where it's like, it makes you question, how did they film that? How did they do that? But Suspiria, give this a definite watch. I mean, I say that with a lot of the movies that I picked out, but Suspiria is a definitely great twist of a horror movie. But yes, Suspiria, very, very good. So we are on number 9. I had to think this. Now, I saw this movie when I was 13 years old, and still to this day, I still say this movie holds up really, really well. It's still tense and scary as it was then, and it is still today now. And I'm talking about Stephen King's classic Children of the Corn. And Children of the Corn was just Linda Hamilton's in this. She played a really good role, and but Children of the Corn, I can't say much more about how much I could just recommend this. This it's the Arrow edition. It's got a lot of great special features in it, and but definitely give Children of the Corn a watch. Now, I mentioned Halloween, but a lot of people saying this is, there were other slasher movies before Halloween, but without this movie, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, this is the one that opened the doors in a lot more ways than everything. And I'm talking about Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Yes, the classic shower scene in this movie that everybody knows, that without this movie we would not probably have Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and a lot of the other slashers today. This is the birth of the slashers, in my opinion. Psycho, very, very good. But definitely give this film a watch. I know a lot of people seen the remake, they seem to like it, but I enjoyed this one much better. They say it's definitely still holds up as one of the most shocking films in history. So give Psycho a watch. So we are down to 3, 4. We are down to the last 5 movies in my list. Yes, the last 5. Now, the next movie I'm going to talk about, that came out in 1983. And when this movie came out, they didn't have PG-13 ratings, and they couldn't give it a PG-13 rating, obviously, because if you don't have one, they can't give you one. And they didn't have a rated R rating, so it was PG-13. But it's produced by Steven Spielberg, and it's directed by Tobe Hooper. And Tobe Hooper is another guy who's in this list here, which I would be talking about here soon. And I am talking about Poltergeist. Now, Poltergeist, the effects to me back then and still hold up very nicely and fun and entertaining. And wow, even so, people were like, this is rated PG, people. And this movie was just out there, over the top. I mean, I'm trying to remember Joe Beth Williams, Greg T. Nelson, and I can't think of the little girl's name right now, but that's okay. But it's a fun cast, great fun movie, produced by Steven Spielberg. You can definitely tell it's a Steven Spielberg movie, and then directed by Tobe Hooper. So yes, Poltergeist, love Poltergeist. Now, another movie that some people say, is it really scary? I mean, there was, but when this movie came out, there was a lot of work that went into it, and the guy who did the voice of the character, he did a very good job. But I'm talking about Child's Play. Child's Play, yes, the evil Chucky doll running around and everything. But I did enjoy Child's Play. Child's Play was a lot of fun. Where a boy wanted a good guy doll, and then sometimes what you want, it doesn't end up all that well. But Child's Play, give Child's Play a watch. It was a lot of fun and very quite entertaining. Now, these are the last 3 movies in my top 15 countdown, and this next movie that I'm gonna that's in my list. Again, it's not because what, of course you're gonna have that movie in your list, but how can I not mention this certain movie? And still today, it's one of the scariest movies of our time. William Peter Blatty's. I got the extended director's cut version of this, or directed by William Friedkin, and of course I am talking about the extended cut version with Linda Blair. I might want to get this now in 4K, but I am definitely talking about The Exorcist. It still is and still probably will be for a long time one of the most shocking, scariest movies of our generation. Are we ever going to see another Exorcist? Probably not. And definitely, who has not seen The Exorcist yet? But if you haven't, you need to watch this movie, because this will definitely scare you, and this will definitely, and it still holds up very nicely today. Now, I haven't had really any werewolf movies in my list. This, to me, came out in the 80s. Now, I did like The Howling. There's a lot of stories between The Howling and this next movie that I'm about to tell you, and I think everybody knows which one is the next one. The special effects, he won he won an award for the greatest special effects in this movie, and I'm definitely talking about American Werewolf in London. Beware the Moon. Stay in the path. American Werewolf in London. I have gone back to watch this movie a couple times just because of what they did back then, and I still think how great it is today. That, to me, a lot of people saying how great what they did for American Werewolf in London then, and I just love this as a great werewolf movie. I don't want to say too much because to spoil it, but the subway scene is just really very cool, and him changing for the first time as the werewolf, that's just another great scene. And you always see people changing into werewolves in the dark, so directed by John Landis, he wanted to do a scene of him changing into a werewolf in broad daylight, and which was the first time that was probably done, as far as I can remember. But American Werewolf in London, good film, and with a great dark, good sense of humor just as well. The last movie on my list is a slasher movie, directed by Tobe Hooper, and this is the 40th anniversary edition of this, and it's a mixed bag with the sequels. The second one, the third one, and everything, they all kind of went in different direction. But when this came out in the 70s, and I'm talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I bought this on VHS, and I remember watching this a long time ago. Now, this is the 4-disc version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it comes with the DVDs and Blu-rays. And Gunnar Hansen, I got to meet Gunnar Hansen, very nice guy. But they said this was another shocking movie, very dark and gritty at the time, and it still, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre holds up really good. I might want to see this in 4K. I'm not too sure, but that is it. This is my top 15 countdown. Definitely give Texas Chainsaw Massacre a watch. Give me a like and a thumbs up on this video. If you like this content, please let me know in the comments below, and I will promise that I would love to do, I'm going to do some comedies and other ones, and talk about other movie genres and everything else. But this is Falcon's Crest saying have a good night, and I'll see you all next